Welcome back, blade lovers. Yes, I've been fishing again. Petrified fish, that is. Is there any other kind? We have the PFE08. I have no other name for this. There are names out there for petrified fish knives like Beluga and Victor and Warrior, but not for the PFE08. I was attracted to it by this very cool Damascus G10. We've seen that before. Let's back out a little, shall we? Seen that before on the Warrior. And you can see the Warrior is a little larger knife, but same G10. This is available in the red and black. I have a very nice, see, now that I led into that, I forget what I was, the brand I was talking about. Vosteed and the Vosteed Thunderbird. If you check that review, you'll see the same Damascus G10 except in red. This is called a green and black. I think that's a fair accounting of the color. Let's open it up, but first you should notice that, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the very first, yes, the very first petrified fish button lock with a very neat long clip blade. Coming in at around 3.6 inches, so she's a full-size knife, as you can see. No, there is no jimping on the blade, sorry folks. And it is not a transferable clip. Nope, because it is a titanium clip. Yep, that is a titanium clip. A machined titanium clip being held on from the underside of the liners, and they're fairly thick liners. And there's an interesting thing about this button lock. I should get into it right now. Look how small it is. It's not your usual large button lock. I think Petrified Fish went out of their way to protect the button, as you can see with this milled out area in the scale. But also, if I just mash it with my thumb like that, it wiggles a little, but it ain't closing. You have to very purposely dig your thumb in, and then it closes. And it's beautiful on bearings, very smooth. And yes, you can open it with the button in a gravity sort of fashion. But again, it's not like it's hard on the thumb or anything, but you've got to be very purposeful and go straight in on that button. That's a good thing, because everybody out there with button locks, or maybe those that have avoided the button locks, have done so because there is some danger, particularly with the earlier ones where that button's standing way up proud, that you touch it and it closes. And you don't want it to close when you don't want it or expect it. So we've got two ways of deploying this. A very nice muted and jimped flipper tab, beautiful, really nice job, and double thumb studs. So this baby can be flicked open with the middle finger, or thumb flicked, which is my preference, or if you don't like either of those, use the back flipper. So I would call it a fidgety knife, so long as you're aware that you can't just tap the button. You've got to go straight in, and then easily it falls. Really, really nice. Got a lanyard hole, yep. And there's that very nice muted Damascus G10, which I happen to like. And I'll compare it again with the Warrior and some other knives. Pretty good thickness, pretty good stock. I mean, blade geometry is really nice. You've got a decent plunge grind there that comes down pretty much in the middle of this Sharpening choil, we'll have to call it. Certainly not a finger choil. I wouldn't call it one, and I wouldn't try that. But let's take some measurements. Overall length, 8¼ inches. And yeah, like 8.6, call it, not 8, sorry, 3.65. I was still thinking about the overall length. 3.65 and 8¼ Talking about the blade thickness, 3.5 millimeters. See, pretty thick. And in inches, 0.13 with a handle of 0.53. If you've got to stay under ½ an inch, this won't do it for you, but is it fat? Is it wide? No, really not. And it's nicely contoured. Now, if I can get the scale without dropping it on the floor, we'll be all set for the weight. And sometime today, there we go. In ounces, 3.8 ounces. Very nice. Well under 4, so 3.8, and we've got a blade length of 3.65. We're almost making an ounce per inch there, aren't we? Not that we have to, but we're getting close. Another closer look. This has got a very nice, I would call it a satin finish. Nice high flat grind. Yep, I would call it flat. Comes through with a decent edge. Shall I attempt the all-important, or maybe only to me, paper cut on some notes I got here from something else? Yeah. A little bit of roughness there, but the point is really something else. All right, some compares, right? First of all, yeah, branding, you know, that's interesting. So that reminds me of something out of Nightmare Before Christmas, Tim Burton, that squiggly thing. And it might be a designer's mark. So if you know about it, let me know. And I haven't even mentioned the steel, which is K110. So there's 2 tiers of Petrified Fish knives. There's the upper tier, which used to be coming in around $55 or so. This was 58, and this was ordered through Amazon, came directly from Petrified Fish, the manufacturer overseas, China. And this handle is $10 more than a plain G10 handle, which was 48. So either way, I would call it pretty well within the budget realm. Now, I mentioned the Warrior, one of my favorite and earlier Petrified Fish knives, also K110. And here's a few things while I'm thinking of it that came in the box with the PFE08. Get a Petrified Fish sticker, kind of a skeletonized swordfish jumping out of the water there with kind of that ancient Japanese painting sort of watery thing going on there. Forgive me for not knowing or remembering. Microfiber cloth, and they always seem to, at this tier, give you extra screws. They had been giving you extra bearings and washers too. Not always doing that now. There is, let's see, they've been giving us different stuff along the way. Now here's the box with some brass washers in it, bronze maybe, that came with this guy. And that is the Beluga Tonto, an amazing knife. It's one of the biggest, tallest, fattest Tontos you'll ever see. Green micarta on that one. Let's see if we can back out a bit more. There we go. Almost. And what else have we got? The Victor. And the Victor is set up as a middle finger flicking knife with that fuller only on the right side of the blade. and it is a liner lock. So again, I've probably got, around 15 or so Petrified Fish knives still. Might be getting rid of some of them. And there's 4 of them at any rate. So the PFE08, the Warrior, which is I think a 939. And I don't remember the numbers on all of them, but that's the Beluga Tonto, and that is the Victor. If we were to swap some of these out for some other brands, and you probably know the ones I'm going to show you, which are the typical ones. I should probably start substituting something else, but I'll get there. We have the Griptilian, and exactly the same size knife. I think our Griptilian officially is coming in a little over 3.5. Here's a Rat 1. It's going to be longer. Yep. By about 3/4 of an inch, something like that. But the PFE08 is light, under 4 ounces. And I usually show weight relieving, so let's do that. Tone this down a little. So we definitely got weight relieving in there to give us that under 4 ounce weight. Except for a lack of jimping, I really like the knife. I think they did a fantastic job on the button lock. I mean, is anyone else doing a button that tiny or that safe, shall we call it? A little bit of wiggle there. I'm pressing as hard as I can, full down with the pad of my thumb. It is not closing. You have to go in and then it'll close. Cool idea. I would recommend this knife as a EDC, last-ditch defense if you think of it that way, but largely EDC with a really nice usable point, nice gradual belly, high grind. There you go. Petrified Fish, PFE08. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care.